All right, so what we have here is a three-step job with a lockout tagout, repair and a fix either by the vendor or an internal tech, and then a re-energize by one of the lease operators. So I have assigned myself to the last step. You can see the first step, which is the lockout tagout, has been completed. That had a high priority because it's safety related. The second step was the repair and the fix. That's currently open for Tinsy is assigned to that, so Tinsy will have to do that, although we'll simulate it here shortly. And then the last step here is for me to go ahead and re-energize the system once Tinsy's done with the fix. There is some logic set up here where it shows that Tinsy and the support user had to accept their tasks. So once the support user accepted the task, completed the lockout tagout, and Tinsy had accepted her task is now open. Once her task is resolved, it will automatically open up my task for me to go and re-energize the system. In my case, I do not have to accept this task. It's just automatically going to assume that I have to do it. So you can set that workflow up in different ways. All right, so now on my mobile app here, this is at the ROS 2503. So I'm going to open up the ROS 2503 and I can see that it says re-energized by operator. I can look into that. It still says not ready. And there's a section called dependency tasks. So I can go in there and I can see that, oh, Tinsy's not done with her task yet. And I can click into hers and be like, oh, she has a dependency. And I can see that, okay, looks like the support user resolved the lockout tagout task. I can actually go in there and can look into the comments, for example, or attachments or anywhere else, even the forms. And I can see that there's a lockout tagout that's been completed. And I can see the picture that they put on the valve to lock and tag it out, or the piece of pipe. So I can see that, yeah, the job's progressing on. I just got to wait for Tinsy to complete her piece. Right, and I'll go back to my list. And what we're going to do here is off here on another screen, I will simulate Tinsy completing the job. So give me a moment to do that. So let's say Tinsy's out in the field. She fixes the repair and she puts in valve is fixed. And then she can resolve that. And in a moment here, we should see that everything updates and we see that the valve is indeed fixed. So you can see it resolved right here on the screen here. Tinsy's done. You can see my task is open, and also on the mobile app, now my task is showing open. So to confirm, what we can do is we can go into my task, go back into the dependencies, see that, yep, Tinsy is indeed resolved. Can go into her comments and it says the valve is fixed. And so now that signals to me to go ahead and complete my task. Now in this case, I don't really have a form or anything. I could just take a picture of me re-energizing the system, or I could put in a comment saying re-energize completed. And I can resolve the task. And pretty soon that gets taken off of my list here. If I unhide it, it can show me what I'm done with. And you can also see here on the main dispatcher or control room screen that task 2 is now resolved. And you can actually go into each one of these, right, and look at the same attachments and everything that I was looking at on the mobile. All right, so let's, for example, go here into my task. And you can see where I put in re-energize completed. You can see some standard attachments that were there. You can also see the entire audit trail of the task from when it got created to what was updated and at what time, and finally when it got resolved. You can also see, using this pretty cool feature here, is where I was when I resolved it. So I'm sitting in LA, even though this task is in West Texas. So in the real world, I probably wouldn't have a job right now, but just something to see when people are resolving tasks, if you want them to resolve it when they're on site versus, when they've um, left the pad, or, later on in the day, just to get some more real-time insights and things like that. Right. So with that said, that's the multi-step workflow demo. We'll take a quick pause and we'll be right back with the next one, which will be the AVO inspection. So let's go ahead and filter for that.